All right, welcome to yoga, friends. I have a block here. You may or may not need any things, but if you have things that you use in your practice that you find to be beneficial to you, please grab them. Right now, sitting like this is more comfortable to me than sitting cross-legged because I am like aging, which is like something that I feel like it surprises me every day that I haven't like all of a sudden started like retrograding. I'm like, oh man, shoot, like this stuff is still just old and creaky. And that's just what I'm working with. So I'm gonna sit like this. Please sit however it is reasonably comfortable to you. And that could include leaning up against like the couch or the wall or sit on something. I find that sitting up on a block or a small pillow, a rolled up blanket, anything to help elevate the hips can be really helpful. I was chatting with some friends last night about about things that are beyond our control. And we have so much to offer like our own selves and our future selves by having deliberate intentions about things. But it's so funny how it happens so often, doesn't it? Where you have to like kind of be careful what you wish for and be careful what really manifests with you. And we talked about the fact that it is actually rather liberating at times not to have to be in charge of and have to like figure out everything. And we do have things that are outside of our control. To be able to then practice leaning into that a bit more. In yoga, we call this the Ishvara Pranidhana, the surrender to that which is greater than ourselves. I am not greater than the forces of time. I am not greater than the forces of biology and the development of the human body. I'm only here doing the best that I can. And the best that I can as a person who offers yoga to others is for us to continue to examine what's happening in this body as we continue to essentially decompose at this point. It was just to be humans in the world, to be connected with the present moment. So particularly when I get into saying some really like fine-tuned, nitty-gritty anatomical or sensory kind of ideas, like those things are not offered to A, confuse the hell out of you, or B, to like have to be able to execute every one of those little tiny detail sort of things. Like they're just there so that there's another tool to be present with what is. And in the physical asana yoga practice, we're trying to be present with the body and the breath. So that's all it is. We're going to start off with some face brushing, some breathing, some oming, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff. So take your index finger and your thumb together and the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumb. Bring that to the center of your forehead and brush outwards towards your temples a few times. And then going from the sides of your nose out to your temples along your cheekbones. From your temples down to your chin on your jawline. And from the sides of your nose down to your chin along your laugh lines. And then massaging underneath and behind your ears, feeling for the soft spot and the bony spot that gets up right on top of that. Then lift up from that bony spot. Feel a little bit more lift in your head and your spine. You might feel yourself sitting up a little bit straighter. Try to keep that lift as you relax your hands down into your lap. Just take a few long, deep breaths, starting to lengthen your breath. Maybe you count your inhales and exhales and then try to add one more count or maybe two more counts onto it so that you get just a little bit longer and more deliberate with your breathing. Noticing the sensations that come up when you breathe. Where do you feel the breath? What parts of the body are impacted by your slow, deliberate, deep breathing? Next time you take a breath in, bring it in through your nose and then big exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3 ohms. Oh. Oh. Start our practice on our hands and knees, and if you're on a hard surface or you need a little extra cushion under your knees, go ahead and grab maybe a towel to fold up or a blanket, anything that you can use to cushion. You're going to be kind of on them for a little bit, and I want your knees to be supported. So come out into table pose. Go ahead and spread out your fingertips. If you can tell your wrists are tender, we're going to come up onto your fingertips so you're not bearing weight down in your wrists at this point. And just work through a few cat and cows. So drop your belly, look up and breathe in. And then exhale, rounding through your spine, tucking your tailbone down. Do that a few more times. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rounding and turning inwards. Inhaling, tail lifts. Exhale, belly button lifts. One more time like that. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to inhale, look over your right shoulder and turn your tailbone over your right shoulder. And then you're going to exhale and you're going to return to cat pose. So you're going to look back to your belly button and tuck your tailbone under. And then inhale. Look over towards the left and turn your tailbone over there. And then you're gonna exhale into cow pose. So you drop your belly down and you look up. So inhale, look to the right, turn to the right. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, look to the left, turn to the left. Exhale, cow pose. Again, inhale, going over towards the right. Exhale, come down and in. Inhale over to the left, exhale, looking up. Once more, inhale right, exhale cat, inhale left, exhale cat. Now go to the left, inhale over towards the left, exhale round in, and keep going like this. You're gonna follow that pattern, slowly moving through these positions. Even though you could probably go faster, you're gonna notice more. Have time to absorb those sensations more if you go slower. We'll go through one more time, all the way fully through. And we'll wind up back towards a more neutral spine. You're gonna leave your hips above your knees and then start to walk your hands forward. Maybe not go as far forward as you usually would. You might come in a little bit closer as long as your hips are up above your knees. I want you to get more of a fold into your hips. So we have like that big heart opening version where that's more of our focus. We're gonna get that here, but instead of having your arms out, maybe you pull them in, just scooch them in a little bit more. And then if it's difficult for you to bring your head down to the floor, go ahead and grab a block or a book and set it underneath your forehead to give you a little bit of a boost. On every exhale, relax the space between your shoulder blades. Two more breaths. Start walking your hands back in. You're going to take your hands a hand point forward, open your chest, lower all the way down onto your belly. Wiggle your toes back a little bit longer, open your collarbones, come up into cobra pose, nice and low. Just kind of noticing how your body's feeling about the shape so far. And then soften it on down. Take let's say your left arm, reach it out from the left side, palm facing down. Look over to the right, rest your head down, and then roll your right leg back behind you so that you get a little bit more opening to the front of the body, especially the left shoulder. And try to soften that left shoulder. Make sure you're resting your head down. One more exhale. And then rolling over onto your belly. Look over to the left, slide the left hand and the right hand out, and then roll your left leg back. Relax your right shoulder. One more exhale. And rolling over to your belly, bringing your hands in. And slither forward into cobra pose again, just see if it feels any different at all. Exhaling to soften down. Pick your belly up towards your spine, push your whole body up and off of the floor. And then returning to our puppy dog pose or heart mounting pose, hips above your knees. This time, walk your arms out a little bit further. Still want to keep hips up above my knees here, but having a little bit more length through the spine, so more of the heart melting down towards the floor. Take two more breaths. Start to walk your hands back in, coming into table pose. We're going to take your right foot forward outside of your right hand, thumb on the inside of the leg. You're going to wiggle the foot as far forward as you can, and then push down into that right foot. You should feel your right hip wrapping back towards your left foot. If you want, you can have a block underneath your hands. That's going to give you a little bit more room. If you would like to curl the back toes under and lift the back knee, you can do that. And you're going to feel even more in that case how important it can be to push down into the front foot, so that you feel the thigh bones pulling into the hip socket, a little bit more strength in the legs, a little bit more heat perhaps in your right underbutt or hamstring. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then if you had the knee up, go ahead and let it down. You're going to turn your right knee and toe out to the right. Bring your left hand a hand print or so further forward, and then reach your right arm up and back. Right away with your left hand, push down a little bit more so that your heart is lifting, that you're not sinking down into that shoulder, yeah? Relax your hips forward. Release your right collarbone outwards from the center of your chest. One more exhale. And then start to turn yourself to face forward. You're going to wiggle your right foot in a little bit closer, and then bring your hands up onto your front thigh. You're going to leave your left hand on your thigh. You're going to reach your right arm back, but only as far as your collarbone is able to open that shoulder up. So if you start to feel the arm going back behind your shoulder, you want to change so that you maybe bring that arm a little bit more in front of you. Now push down in that front foot. See if you can soften your belly a little bit more. If you want, you can reach both arms out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Then come back to facing towards the front. Lift both arms up. Pick your heart up right towards your fingertips. Take another breath in. And then drop your hands down or lower your hands down. Some better words for me to use. Slide the left foot back. And then go ahead and shift your hips a little bit side to side just to loosen up any sticky spots. The left foot comes forward outside of the left hand. You might be able to wiggle it a little bit further forward. You can be up on fingertips or on a block. Push down into your front foot. Just that little shift in my hips is kind of sliding out there. If I push down in the foot, the hips align a little bit more. Maybe you curl the back toes and lift that back knee. And it's totally optional. If that's not a good idea, if you don't like it, if you'd rather have the knee on the ground, go for it. But don't stop pushing down actively into your left foot. The legs be strong, especially that front leg. Big breath in. Big breath out. Gently release your right knee down. Turn the left knee and toe out. Bring the left or right hand further forward. And then the left arm reaches up and back. And instead of being here, I'm here, and I'm here. Really open. Big breath in. Big breath out. Go ahead and turn yourself to face forward again. You're going to wiggle the foot inwards a little bit more. Take your hands up onto your front thigh, and then you're going to reach, wardrobe malfunction, your left arm back. And it's coming right out from the shoulder. Maybe the front arm goes forward, it doesn't need to. You're going to lift those inner thighs, push into that front foot. See, if I'm here, I can't twist as much. If I'm lifted, then I can get more rotation. Soften that belly. You might have that arm out. One more round of breath. Come back to facing towards the front of your space. Lengthen that spine, feel your heart lifting up. And exhale, soften the hands down. And slide your left leg back. Bend the knees one more time, puppy dog pose. Reaching the arms out, seeing how much more you're able to soften that heart down towards the floor. Big exhale. Start to walk your hands back in. We're going to roll over and lay down on our backs. Bring your knees in, a little squeeze. Rock around a little bit. And roll your knees over towards the right side. Open your arms out to a cactus shape. Push down in your right elbow so that your left elbow gets open a little bit more. And keep pushing down into your forearms, the backs of your forearms. And try to relax your collarbones. If you need to move your legs a little bit, go ahead and move your legs. They might need to go further down. Can you be active in your forearms and relaxed in your collarbones? That's a weird one. One more exhale. And then roll your legs over towards the other side. When you get there, pressing into the back of your left arm to roll the right arm or right shoulder more open. And then it's forearms pressed down, collarbones, try to soften. Deep breath in. Soften on your exhale. Bring the legs up. And you're going to turn your arms so the arms, the palms, actually go ahead and straighten your arms out, kind of like a low V shape there. Press into your hands into your collarbones open and then bring your shins parallel with the ceiling. Only go about 6 inches over towards the right as you exhale, and notice that you want your left shoulder to stay open as you do. And then inhale back to the center. Try to keep that right shoulder down as you move your knees about 6 inches over towards the left. And then back to the center. And if you felt good at 6 inches, you can go for 8 inches over towards the right. And then inhale to the center. Exhale, maybe 6 or 8 inches over towards the left. And then inhale, center. And then you can go 2 more inches each time if you were able to keep that shoulder down. And if you're not able to keep the shoulder down, instead of being like all mad at yourself for not having some sort of wild, circus body-like capabilities, just go, oh, this is where I am right now. And I can have compassion for myself here, be realistic about what I'm, doing here, and not be concerned about it being any other way, because if it could be another way, it would be another way, and it's not, so whatever. Nice and slow. So that's when you can really feel the shifts taking place. Go ahead and go one more time each side. So you want to make sure you'll end with the knees over towards the left. Come back to the center. Go ahead and set your feet down. You're going to open your knees. You can use your fingertips to catch your thighs. You see in your inner thighs. One more exhale. And fold your knees in. Go ahead and bring them up. You're going to rock yourself up to a seat. Keeping soles of the feet together, knees out wide. This time you're going to come forward. Long spine, doesn't have to be super straight spine. Just coming into a bit of a fold. See what's tight, see what you can soften. One more breath out. Start to lift yourself up. Swing your legs back behind you. We're going to come into table pose. And from table pose, spread the fingertips out. Make sure your index fingers face mostly forward. Then push down from your heart into your hands. Try to wrap your elbows to face back towards your legs. You might feel a little bit more room around your collarbones now. Curl your toes under, press back into downward facing dog. We're going to try to stay here for 3 breaths. You can take your knees down if you need. Keep pushing from the heart down into your hands. Inhale, exhale, relax your heels. One more time, deep breath in. Try for a nice long breath out. And then release your knees down. You're going to keep the toes curled under and push your hips back to your heels. Take a big breath in. Soften something as you exhale. One more time, deep breath in. Soften as you exhale. Come on up. Push down hard into your hands again. Fingertips spread out wide. We'll go back up into downward facing dog. You want to use your strong upper back to go down into your arms and up through your hips. Try to relax your heels down. It's fine if they never ever touch. One more exhale. And then look forward. You're going to step your feet outside your hands. And you can stay in squat up here. Excuse me, or move down a bit more where your hips drop down below your knees. Notice my knees and my toes are spaced slightly outwards. I want you to try to push into the pinky toe edges of your feet and feel your upper butt releasing down and back. So instead of feeling like a little short there, you relax that down. Even if it's just changing the way it feels and your body stayed in exactly the same place. One more exhale. Then take your hands down. If your hips are below your knees, I find it's useful to lift the heels up to make a shift into a forward fold. Wiggle your feet in a little bit more, like hip width distance apart. Keep the knees as bent as you need. And then try to relax the back of your neck. Maybe just like when you were holding your fingertips back behind your ears, you can feel that gentle lengthening and releasing of all of the back bones. One more exhale. A little bend into your knees, roll it on up, come to standing, and adjust your wardrobe. We're gonna move into a lunge here. So right foot will be forward. Actually, let's do warrior one. Just switching this up a little bit. So my back foot is all the way on the floor, and I've got like a little angle out to the side. The front leg is bent, knee above the ankle. Go ahead and reach your arms up. Push down a little bit more into your front foot, so maybe that thigh bone rolls back and you get just a little bit longer. And you're gonna wrap your, my right arm on top of the left arm. For eagle arms, maybe it's more like a hug, maybe it's not wrapped up, it's just elbows next to each other, or right elbow on top. And then you're gonna come down, drawing your elbows down towards your belly button. Once you've got as far as you're gonna go there, then you're gonna try to take this down, elbows on the inside of your front thigh. And what you have to do to stop the hips from going out sideways is to push down in the front foot a little bit more. One more exhale. And start to unwind your arms. As you come back up, reaching them up into warrior one. Then you're gonna shift on your back foot. You're gonna come up onto your toes. Up like so. Lift from my inner thighs, and then open the arms out into a twist. I'm gonna lift that back inner thigh because it might start to like roll in, and then I lose that stability in my hips. Bring your right hand to your hip. Lift your heart right up to your left arm. Revolve peaceful warrior. Big breath in. Exhale. Start to reach it down and forward. You're going to try to either bring your hand outside of your thigh or catch your elbow outside of your thigh. This is going to be an easier place to balance in and an easier place to make the transition in. This is going to be a little bit harder. You still need to push down into both feet and then soften your belly as you exhale. Maybe you can roll your heart a little closer to your thumbs. Notice that this top shoulder is ideally not coming forward. It's opening up. Now look down towards your right foot. You're going to take a little journey. You know exactly where your left foot is going because your right foot's right there, just right up next to your right foot. And you can even give yourself a little scooch. Go for it. Right foot and left foot right next to each other. Push down into your hands. Relax your upper butt back. Maybe your heart turns more towards your thumbs. Exhale. Unwind. Inhale. Reach your arms up, straighten legs. And then bring your hands on down. We're going to step out. Right foot going back into warrior one. Other side, so back toes turned up slightly. Let's lift the arms. Lift from your inner thighs all the way up through your heart to your fingertips. And keep the length in your spine as you wrap your left arm on top. You're going to draw elbows as far as they'll get down towards your belly button. And then start taking everything down on the inside of your knee. Keep pressing down into that front foot. One more exhale. And start to unwind your arms as you come back up to warrior one. Nice and long for your spine. Get longer when you shift into the lunge, coming up onto the back toes, because it's going to help to square the hips more, giving it more equal, even ground from whence forth to lift up. And then right arm forward, left arm goes back. 2 strong feet. One more exhale. Then left hand to the hip, right arm reaches up. Might even get a little bit stronger in that back leg to really reach up and stretch out the front of your right hip. One more breath in. And then coming forward, either your hand comes to the outside of your thigh or your elbow does. You're gonna keep pushing into both feet here. Keep the hips as stable as you can. Maybe the palms come together. Lift that back inner thigh. Ooh, one more exhale. Look down at your front foot. You're gonna take your back foot and step it up. We want the feet right next to each other. Go. And if you miss, you just move them again, yeah? So finding 2 feet together, 2 knees together. Soften the belly. See if you can relax the hips back a little bit more. More exhale. Unwind. Inhale, reach the arms up. Straighten your legs. Soften your hands down to your heart. I'm gonna separate the feet. I like to move in chair when I'm not doing the twisty stuff. Having like a half, like maybe like 2 inches or so in between the feet. Just because it helps to have a little bit more room to get down a little bit more. If you need to have your feet together to keep your knees from doing wonky things, do that. But if you can keep a good alignment in your knees, a little bit of space. A little bit of space. You're gonna reach the arms up. Feel the fronts of your hips lift. Every time you come standing like this, feel the fronts of your hips lift. Then reach your heart up a little bit more. So get a little bit of a bend. Heart opening, back bend. Try to keep that heart lifted as you exhale, bend back into your knees, chair pose. Then inhale, come on up. Feel the fronts of your hips lift. Exhale, keep that heart lifted, chair pose. Inhale, come on up. If you need to separate your arms more, do that. Exhale, lean back in chair, keep your weight going back. Inhale, lift it all the way up. 2 more times, exhale, as far back as you can get in the hips, and then inhale. You're lifting up that front body. 1 more, exhale. Inhale. And then relax your arms down. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, keep your elbows bent, move your feet a little bit wider now, more like hip width distance apart. You're gonna keep your knees bent as you fold forward, dropping your heart down towards your thighs. Maybe you straighten your arms after that, maybe you don't, and then try to release your head down. One more breath in. Big breath out. Release your arms now. Keep the bend in your knees. Relax your head, roll it up. And then we're going to come into a little balance work in dancer's pose. If you want to have anything, if you want to go closer to a wall or a couch or whatever, if you don't want to be out the center of your space. Start with your right leg, just kind of rolling around a little bit, stretching your foot out, going both directions. Feel all of your bones doing a little snap, crackle, and pop. I'll start this way. Okay, so you're gonna start standing on your right foot. You're gonna reach your left foot up and back, and then you're gonna catch the inside of your foot. Okay, got it. So same arm, same leg. Now, feel your inner thighs lifting up, and you're gonna kick that foot back into your hand, lifting the heart up, and then maybe you reach your right arm forward. Try not to let the knee go to the side. So my hips get off there. I wanna keep it a little bit more squared. Yeah. Exhale, soften slightly. You're gonna take your right hand back now. Try to catch the top of the foot. And you're gonna push the foot back, reaching the left arm forward. I think it's a little bit easier to stay squared. It's a little bit harder to get more open in the body. Exhale, gently come back, release the foot, wiggle. Then you're gonna take your left foot, go ahead and roll it around a little bit. I know you got a little bit of work holding on to it, but just loosen the foot bones and muscles and stuff. And then you're gonna catch your right foot, reach back, catch the inside of the foot, so it helps to keep the knees a little bit more on line. You're gonna push the foot back in the heel, lift the heart up, Maybe reach the left arm forward. Find the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Start to back off a bit. You're going to switch sides. You're going to hold with your left hand on your right foot. Reach the right arm forward. And then, whew, side feels more open. Try to get expansive. Keep lifting those inner thighs. Big breath in. Exhale. Release. Set the foot down. A little bounce out in your body. And we're going to line the legs out. We're going to come into warrior two. So starting over towards the right side, wherever that is in your body, or near me. You're going to bend into that right leg, reach the arms up. Make sure those back toes are turned in. Inhale, peaceful warrior. And exhale, come forward, elbow to the knee. If you can go further, you might do that, you might not. Push down to this front foot, and then push down to the back foot. You should go longer on that upper side. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, come back to warrior two, straighten the front leg. I'm gonna go with peaceful triangle. I just want you to lift up and find a little bit more length on this side, and then keep it with you as you lean forward, shift your hips, and roll out into triangle pose. Try to relax this top hip. Reach your heart out to your hands, your ears out of your shoulders. From here, we're going to go down into a low twisting lunge. This top hand is going to come down. You're going to bend into that front knee, hop up onto your back toes, lift the inner thighs, and reach your arm up. You might have a block underneath your right hand or your left hand. You might decide to lower your back knee. All of those great choices. From wherever you are, see if you can reach the top arm up and over your nose. You're going to soften your belly a lot more here. This can become very heated. Big inhale, exhale, and then you're going to walk it all the way out to a wide-legged fold. So bring your hand out, start walking your hands over towards the left, pivot your feet over towards the left, and let your body soften down. Catching your breath here. Little bend into the knees and bring yourself up to standing. I'm gonna switch over towards the left side, or so your other side, whatever your other side is. I'm gonna come into warrior two. So bending into your front leg. I'm reaching my arms out in two directions. Big inhale. Exhale. Come forward. Elbow down, arm comes over. If you can and want to go down further, like down towards that, you could do that. You may not. Push down into the back foot. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, come in and up, straightening the front leg. Brief visit into peaceful triangle. Find a lot of space on this side, and then take that space forward into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Tail away from your ears, ears away from your tail. Broaden your collarbones. One more breath in. And then moving into the lunge. Top hand comes down, pivot onto the back foot. You can drop the back knee, grab a block maybe, and then reach your left arm up in the air. Lift those inner thighs, even if your back knee is down on the ground. And then you're going to extend that top arm up and over your nose. Trying to get your hand as far away from the back inner heel as possible. Exhale. And then bring the hands down. Start to walk things out to a wide-legged forward fold. Soften your body. You're going to leave your left hand down underneath your nose. Come out towards a longer spine. Feel free to have bent knees. You're gonna take your right hand and place it on the small of your back, the flat part back there. Try to keep the flat part flat as you roll your right shoulder open. Then as far out as your right shoulder gets, if you can keep your back flat here, try to open your arm up from your shoulder and notice what that's like. Like I'm not at fully 6 o'clock, 6:05 or something, 5:55, whatever the heck, yeah. That's just as far as my shoulder goes. Now maybe I get to like 6:58 after some work and awareness and some time to open that space in my twist, but you know, like I have to get the shoulder open. I can't just go here, yeah. Go ahead and release back to center. You're gonna drop your right hand down in front of your nose here and then bring your left hand up to the small of your back. I want to feel this flatness. I'm gonna keep the flatness as I roll the shoulder open. I'm honest with my body about the placement of my shoulders as I reach my arm out, and then if I can get the shoulder back more. Oh, God, there's a lot of belly squeeze. Soft squish going on. Exhale. Take the hands back down, go ahead and soften it. Now wiggle your feet a little bit closer together. They might get to hip width, they might still be kind of wide. It's okay. Bend your knees. Try to relax your spine as you come up to standing. And then we're gonna revolve triangle pose. If you wanted to grab a block and place it under your hand, you can do that. If you wanted to hold, instead of being on a block or a stack of books, you're gonna hold onto your shin instead, okay? So take your feet, set them up like you would for warrior one. And you're gonna have 2 straight legs. It might be like a short warrior one too. So I don't have my back foot directly behind my front foot. Start by lifting your inner thighs. Feel this, you know, a little bit longer here. Maybe you feel that little shift forward. You're gonna take your block, you're gonna put it down on the inside of your front foot. It might be on the highest, middle, or lowest setting, or you put your hand at your shin. So now lift those inner thighs again. We lengthen that spine. We're gonna keep doing that, lifting the inner thighs to feel the spine lengthen. Take your hand, bring it to the small of your back. Notice if you have a tendency to shift towards one hip or the other. The vast majority of us are gonna have a big shift towards the front leg hip. You wanna feel both thigh bones lifting up, or the pelvis lifting up off of both of those thigh bones. And you'll start to feel a little bit more balanced. Hopefully not in a compressive sort of way. Lift your heart up, soften your belly, and start rolling the shoulder open on that top arm. See how far it can go with you still lifting your pelvis up and off of your thigh bones. And then maybe you open your arm. And it probably won't be 6 o'clock, or you might decide that you hate it at 6 o'clock, and then maybe you can rotate more. One more exhale. Bring your hand back to your hip, draw your belly in. Go ahead and stand yourself up, both hands to your hips. And then switch sides. You can just switch your feet or turn around to the other direction. Let's set up, fall over. Warrior one, kind of a short warrior one, 2 straight legs. Inner thighs lift up, feel this length in your spine. Take that length forward, bringing your hand down to a place that makes sense to you. And I'm gonna be a little taller on this funky hamstring side. And then take the top hand to your pelvis. Yep, there I'm doing it. Still like letting this hip drop out. I'm gonna lift the hips up to float on top of my thigh bones, the heads of my femurs. And then start softening the belly and rolling the shoulder open. Keep lifting these hips up. Maybe the arm opens. Maybe it doesn't. Can you expand your collarbones and soften your belly and maybe twist deeper? Maybe you don't. Big exhale. And then go ahead and take it down. Open both hands to your hips. Stand it up. And then you're going to bring your legs up to your feet together. And you can do this with a block in between your thighs to give a little bit more space around the pelvis. But if you don't have something to put in between your thighs, just bring your legs exactly close together. We're going to take that twisting chair again. Feet together, or having a block in between your thighs and your feet, a block's distance apart. We're going to sit back into chair pose. You're going to take one hand to the small of your back, soften your belly, soften the hips back, and then take your opposite elbow to the opposite. Both hands might come together, or you might keep a hand at your hip. You're going to keep the inner thighs rolling back and your heart rolling up to your hands. If you feel one of your knees jutting forward, you need to push stronger into that foot. Push strong into both feet to keep your knees balanced. Release your collarbones, ears away from your tailbone. One more exhale. Unwind. Go ahead and stand yourself up, give a little break. And then take the other hand into your bag, slapping it down. You're gonna keep rolling over, hand or elbow to the outside of your thigh, push down into both feet. I'm gonna release these hips back as far as possible. Maybe both hands come together. Broaden the collarbones, lengthen the spine, soften that belly. One more exhale. Wind yourself back to the center. Lift both arms up, lift the front of your hips. Nice and long throughout that front body, picking the ribs up and away from the hip bones. And on your exhale, forward fold. Wiggle your feet a little bit wider. They might go a little bit wider than your hips. Toes turn out. You're going to drop down into your own squat, which also could be you sitting your bum down on the floor. Just having your legs out wide. Notice if it feels any different than when you began practice. If you're able to relax the upper butt down more, if you're able to feel the heart floating upwards. And then gracefully or not, with or without your hands, butt does come all the way down. We're gonna take pigeon pose. So I'll show from the front. You want your shin kind of tucked in. Your knee is gonna be facing out. And be like so, yeah. So my foot is not right underneath my pelvis. It's a little in front of my pelvis. My pelvis is more or less even here. My thigh face is out. I'm gonna relax this thigh bone in and then go ahead and come down. Your back foot, try to have your back toes facing directly behind you. Because when they're kind of folded in or out, then it's gonna let that leg roll around. So try to have toes facing directly back. You can prop yourself up, you can grab blocks, pillows, sometimes putting something, even just touching the hip and not necessarily underneath it can make a really big difference to having a little bit more ease in this pose. One more exhale. And you're gonna start to come back up onto your hands. You're gonna sit over onto that front hip. Then you're gonna roll over to face towards your back leg. And then take the foot that you had in front, you're gonna cross it over. Hug your thigh, right arm down, right behind your back, lift it nice and tall, and then soften your belly into this twist. Pulling this thigh in a little bit. Open your collarbones. One more exhale. And then you're gonna go back to pigeon, same side, just a little visit. You're gonna roll that leg over, come the face direction again. See if you've got a little bit more space, maybe test it down here. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Might feel more. You may wonder what the heck I'm talking about. That's always acceptable. So you'd be like, I don't know. I don't know is a good answer. I think it shows that you're paying attention. It shows me that I'm paying attention. I'm like, oh, actually, I don't know. So okay. Go ahead and bring your leg back. We're gonna go forward on the left side. So make sure the knee isn't facing directly forward. I'm gonna bring my block in just to touch my hip here. It's not keeping me from feeling the stretch, but it's giving just a little extra support and then coming down. Big breath in. Big breath out. And start to lift yourself up. You're gonna come over to sitting on that front leg's hip. Go all the way over to face towards the back leg. Front leg crosses over, hand in close to your hip, hug the thigh, lift the spine, soften the belly, rotate. One more exhale. And then release this leg. We're gonna go back into pigeon just for a quick little visit. Oh my gosh. Am I the only one? It's like I put on somebody else's hips all of a sudden. Just kind of checking it out, like, oh, that was neat. And then we're gonna go out, wide legs. I'm gonna let me know about that if that worked for you, because I've found that to be kind of an interesting, like revisiting something after trying something different, which we try a lot, but we haven't necessarily tried that a lot. Lift your toes. I'm gonna take your knees and you want them to go upwards and not really forwards, so just a little rotation. Slide your left arm out, reach your right arm up, release your shoulder blade and then drop that hip down. You feel almost like you're rolling forward. There's so much release along the back body. Exhale. Up. And slide your right hand down, reach your left arm up and over. Make sure the knees face up. Release the hip down, the shoulder blade off the spine, the ears out of the shoulders. One more exhale. Come on up. We're gonna fold, fold the right leg and we're gonna come out over the left leg. My thighs stay pretty wide here. I'm gonna do a turning in the body and a softening in the belly and in the back. Just coming out as far over this leg as makes sense to you. Sometimes taking the opposite arm and holding the outside of the foot. Gives you a little extra of this. It also helps to cue a little bit more of the twisting. If you've got space for it, great. If it seems like an unnecessary struggle, it's an unnecessary struggle. We'll leave that part alone. One more exhale. Release. If you've got that bind, we're gonna lift it up, open your right leg out and tuck your left leg in. I'm gonna come out and do a twist over this leg. Maybe you use the opposite arm to hold the outside of the foot. Keep relaxing your lower back. You know, we're talking about like how freeing it can feel to just not have to be in control of everything all the time, because there's so much where we realize we were maybe wrong about what we thought that we wanted. Give yourself another exhale. And come back up. We're gonna open the legs. We're gonna go forward into a fold. If you're feeling less foldy today, I want you to bring your arms in for support. So you'll be back here, maybe out here. But that whole idea, like, shoot, I'm wrong about like so much. Like there's so much that I thought that I wanted, I thought I had all figured out, and I realized that, you know, that wasn't necessarily the case. Having that recognition and then having space to do better, I think is probably better than believing we have it all under control, but believing that we know best all the time. So then what What more do you have to grow with? What more do you have to learn? There's no end game. It's like we call yoga the practice. It is always, always, always something we practice. Perfection being unreasonable and in many ways kind of undesirable. On your next exhale, see what you can soften. And again, as you exhale, see what you can soften. And see if there's anything there to relax on your next breath. Start to walk your body back in. We're gonna bring the legs into easy seats, or crisscross applesauce, so just finding across of your legs, one in front of the other, and then whatever was the easier one for you to do, just switch your legs. Take a little twist over towards your right. Use your hand, use your arm to support you. Lift up from the ears, breathe in, exhale, soften your belly. Again, like that, breathe in. Soften as you breathe out. Unwind yourself, inhale, exhale, twist towards the left. Big breath in. Exhale, soften the belly. Feel your collarbones broaden. Big exhale. Release yourself from the twist. Start to walk your hands forward, coming into a fold. Relax your back. Don't worry about how far you get forward. Just see if you can relax your back. One more exhale. And walk your hands back in. Switch your legs again so you come back to what is probably the more comfortable place for your body. We'll take a little twist over towards the right. Again, use your arms to support you. Just one breath in and one breath out. Inhale to the middle. Exhale, twist to the left. Get taller, breathe in. Soften your belly, breathe out. And then start to face forward. Walk your hands out. Come as far forward as you reasonably can. Be honest with yourself about what's reasonable in your body. Find a place you can breathe. Start to walk your hands back, finding yourself in a seat. Now, if this is still uncomfortable, if you need to adjust your seat, if you need to sit up on something, make that shift. We're going to do just a short seated meditation or seated exercise of breathing. And Pema Chodron, her teachers, would always say, you know, when you realize in your meditation that your thoughts come, because they will, like even like Pema Chodron has thoughts, guys, like it happens. You know? The Dalai Lama finds himself thinking, you know, this is what happens. When it comes, we just are realistic about it. Say thinking, like, oh, thinking, and then move on from there. It becomes the where do we go from here. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes just to examine, focus on the breath. You can even count your breath. That can be really helpful to be a little bit more intentional about it. And when you start thinking about stuff, oh, thinking, and it is what it is, and you move on from there. Be here for about 2 minutes. Notice if there's any tension in your face, you could relax. In a perfect world, I made the adjust timing. That part of the song a bit more. We'll start to move ourselves down onto our backs at this point. Go ahead and lay down onto your forearms. So you've got your elbows underneath your shoulders. You can leave your legs bent or extended out. I'm going to press under the shoulders, feel the chest opening up. A little fish pose. One more inhale. Exhale, soften, start to roll down onto your back. You're going to reach the arms up over your head. This time extend the legs out. And again, feel your heart opening, this time from you reaching out as long as you can. Your heart floating up towards the fronts of your ribs. One more breath in. Exhale, relax. Slide your feet in a little bit closer to your hips, widen them more than your hips. You might hold on to your elbows or just leave your arms flopped open. Flex your feet, drop your knees over towards the right side. If you want to put your right ankle on your left knee, you can do that to get a little bit more lengthening in the front of your hip. I'll pass on that today. It's an option. Your left knee reaching out, your belly softening back. Can you soften your inner armpits? One more exhale. Roll your knees over towards the other side. Keep those feet flexed, protect your knee joints. Reach the right knee away from you. Feel that lengthening through the front side of that thigh. Soften your inner armpits. One more exhale. Come back to the center, draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. You can rock around a little bit. You can take happy baby, widening your knees out, reaching up to hold onto your feet. Just kick me in the face. Rude. Relaxing your pelvis, your lower back, your butt. Take one more breath where you're at. Soften on your exhale. Start to release your feet down onto the floor. Decide if you'd like to rest here with your legs bent or you extend it into Shavasana. Maybe you go back to that seated meditation. Finding a place where you can allow your body to be soft. Practice the art of surrendering. Admitting that we cannot precisely control everything, and maybe finding some gratitude for not having to be right all the time. We're being willing to grow as a result of not being right all the time. you come back to your breath, next time you take an inhale, you can breathe in for just a little bit longer than you may have before. And on your exhale, see if you can come to the point where you have released as much air as you can. And again, inhale. Nice and long. Keep exhaling. Nice long inhale. Long exhale. This time, one more big breath in. And sigh, push the air out. One more time, big inhale. Really let it go. You might stretch the body out long. And then roll over to your favorite side in gratitude for your practice and for coming in and playing around, being present in your body and your breathing. And when you're ready, coming up to your own version of a comfortable seat, one that works for you. Hands at your heart. Heart continuing to open. We'll seal our practice by releasing an Om together. Big breath in. Bowing down to the love inside of each of our hearts, the light and the darkness within us all. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you. I absolutely lost my shit in meditation. What necrophilia, cannibalism? This is
Kidding me right now.
All week. It was great. Thank you. Thank you. I will never forget this. Thank you.
Adjust the playlist a little bit, I think.
Oh no, it was perfect.
Hi guys, thank you.